Guys, hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. If I'm audible and visible, do write in the comment section that I am audible and visible. So today is 4th November 2025 and my name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my Telegram channel. I'll be sharing this particular Hindu analysis PDF by 9:30 a.m. on this particular Telegram channel, so you can join it as well. And yesterday I gave you people some questions. Before that, let me check whether I can hear myself clearly or not. Just give me a second, guys. Good morning, Harshini. Good morning. So yeah, I think I can hear myself clearly. There's no issue at all. So let's start the discussion. So yesterday I gave you people this particular question, which was easy because in answer only, like in statements only, answer is hidden, or it's not even hidden, it's very explicit. So which of the following statement best describes a Ramsar site? What is the answer, guys? And Chepandi is fast. What is a Ramsar site? We discussed about Ramsar site yesterday, a site in Assam. They want the status of Ramsar site, and why? Because the biodiversity there is much higher than, let's say, in Deepor Bill. So Harshini and Vikas, they have given the answer. The answer is B, a wetland site recognized as being of international importance under the Ramsar Convention 1971. Ramsar is in Iran. So let's start and let's come to present, and let's talk about the first article of the day, which is written by Shashi Tharoor, which is talking about India's IT dream. So again, there are many layoffs which are happening. TCS has announced 20,000 jobs, layoff, and they shed it in a single quarter. All these things are going on. So many people are like, no, IT sector is in a pessimistic arena right now. Shashi Tharoor sir is saying that there are things which are going and there are things not very good for us. And why IT sector matters, if you see the numbers here, IT industry recruits only 1% of India's workforce but contributes about 7% of India's GDP. So there are some facts and figures which are actually let me see things which are going in there. Yeah, so everything's fine. So yeah, so there are some facts and figures which, like 7% of country's GDP is actually a big number. So Shashi Tharoor sir is saying that India is moving from, or India's IT sector is moving from manpower to mind power. What does it mean? Earlier, in there were some companies, mass companies we used to call them, like TCS, like Cognizant, like Accenture, mainly TCS, Cognizant. And so these companies, they used to hire in bulk for doing repetitive codings. They will hire guys at 3 lakh per annum package or something like that, and they will be doing repetitive coding. That would be the work of these people. So now we have moved beyond that. This article is saying that it's not only about repetitive coding, and these things can be done by AI, repetitive coding, etc. For these like this particular work, we don't need humans like our AI can do this particular work. So let's get away with these kind of jobs. But if these jobs are going, something else is being getting created. So India's IT sector has been central to country's economic rise for 3 decades, contributing 7% of GDP by employing 1% of workforce. That's what this article is talking about. Cool, sir. Large layoffs have happened, but this is not a collapse, guys. This is just a transformation. This keeps on happening. This is just a churn. Anywhere and everywhere you witness and encounter these kind of churning. So we need to be ready. We need to be ready for reskilling. That's what Shashi Tharoor sir is saying. And then there will be some keywords which we have to pay attention to. So IT sector isn't collapsing. It's undergoing a deep structural change requiring strategic adaptation and new skills. Layoffs are silent, performance linked, delayed promotion. Sometimes what is happening, which I am seeing a lot in certain sectors, in certain companies, what they will do, they will promote you. You are this, you are director or this and that, god knows what, associate director and this and that, and then there is no increase in pay. There is increase in your designation, but there is no increase in pay. All these things are happening, which sometimes lead people to resign themselves. So these things are going on. This is a structural transformation. This is not a collapse, according to Shashi Tharoor. And what he is talking about, what are the main reasons? AI driven automation. There are talks, there has been talk. We're currently going through fourth industrial revolution, fourth IR. So there is a talk that AI is taking away jobs. And this particular article related to IT sector, written by Shashi Tharoor, in a way is saying that yes, that's somewhat true. But there is another argument that AI is also creating other jobs, or this whole tech driven thing is creating other jobs. Let's say, YouTuber, this and that. So AI can now handle routine coding, reporting, etc. And that's why these mass companies, which used to hire in masses, they are hiring lesser or they are firing more. Productivity gains reduce the need for large workforce. Global policy constraint. In think US because of Trump, H-1B visa, immigration policy, all these things are changing. So mid-level employees, they are not, sending them is not economical now because there is a cap now, $80,000, this and that US has put. So because of that cap, earlier why we used to send cheap people, like Indian labor was very skilled. It was also considered somewhat cheaper. But now that cheap element is gone. Tightening client budgets. US and European firms are cautious because of economic uncertainty. So you can understand here, demand has shifted from low cost outsourcing to high value AI integrated solution. That's what this article is talking about. Awesome. Then end of digital assembly line. Earlier old IT model was what? Hiring mass engineers, TCS, Cognizant, etc. Even Infosys, even Wipro, they used to do that for repetitive coding. That thing is now obsolete. AI can majorly take care of that particular thing. Cool, sir. New model, lean teams with specialized AI, cloud, and cybersecurity expertise. So now you have to focus on AI learning. People who are in IT sector, many of the people who watch my videos are, many of them are prepared for UPSC and they're very worried about their future. So Shashi Tharoor sir is saying that just learning Java, .NET will not suffice. You have to keep on updating yourself with AI learning, machine learning, big data. You have to be ready for reskilling revolution. So currently we are going through a reskilling revolution as stated by World Economic Forum, and that thing is very much applicable when we talk about even our sector. There are many people who are like, we are in ed tech sector, we teach history static, so let's not grow anymore, let's keep on teaching the same thing. No, in any arena you have to keep on growing yourself, otherwise you will stagnate after a certain period. Okay, let's focus. So mid-level employees, now the problem with mid-career professionals, like there are many people who are in the age group of 45, 50 something. Now they are very hesitant to learn something new. You become rigid after a certain age. What will happen to them? Because and I have seen this, many of my family members, etc., etc., you also may have seen this. They are very worried. They're earning in lakhs per month, but they're very oh my god, they're very worried that they can lose their job anytime and every time. So that's what they're saying. They will face redundancy if they're not ready for reskilling thing. That's what Sashi Tharoor sir is talking about. Mid-level employees lack deep technical skills for AI era. Plus, they are also hesitant. Fresh graduates struggle to enter the job market because they are not learning AI. They are more focused on learning Java, C, C++, etc. What Sashi Tharoor sir is saying, this silent layoff is happening, but when you're doing these layoff, at least give them 6 to 9 months of severance pay. And I feel like not only in IT sector, even in other sectors, I have seen people getting laid off by just by giving them 1 month pay, etc., etc., which I personally feel is not correct. Okay, so according to Shashi Tharoor sir, this is just a churn, nothing to worry about. This is just telling people in IT sector, reskill yourself. Don't just sit on a particular knowledge set. The sector still contributes to $80 billion, employs 6 million people. So there are so many things. Uh, Good morning, Rishi. Job stability and guaranteed success are no longer assured. See, job stability and all these guaranteed success, etc., it's just a misnomer. If you want to grow in life, every day is a new day, every day is a new adventure. When you will people, oh my god, when you people will become civil servant also, every day something new will come up and you have to tackle it. So there's no stability, and again there's just opportunity. So basic degrees of Java, you can see all these things. Continuous learning in AI, data science, cloud computing, etc., is essential. Be it beginners, be it mid-level employees or senior employees, you have to be ready for the reskilling revolution. So goal and policy and institutional reforms. Government must reform engineering curricula. AI literacy, we have talked about this thing in the previous Hindu articles, where we have talked about what we have talked about. We have talked about, how from class 3 onwards AI literacy will be given, and then there were pros and cons discussion. So that has to be done, and that has to be inculcated in engineering curricula as well. Reskilling revolution, World Economic Forum. Now this is your homework, guys. Read about World Economic Forum. UPSC has asked questions on them. Where is their headquarter? Where are they based? It's in Switzerland. Where in Switzerland? That is important. If you know it, post it in the comment section. Public-private partnership. TCS trained 5.5 lakh employees in AI basics, and that, like, money was, TCS, government money, both money should come together. There has to be some amount of partnership. It should not be like government is like you people do the work, you people have employed these guys. No, both of them have to come together. Engineering education, you can read all these things. Government and venture capital should support AI and deep tech startups to diversify jobs beyond IT services. Basically, AI. You are reading AI anywhere and everywhere. AI is the demand of the hour. Doesn't matter IT sector or not. Anywhere you are, whenever you have free time, focus on AI, learn AI as much as possible. That's what this article is talking about. Displaced workers need career transition program, 6 to 7 months severance pay. All these things have to be given to these people. Job safety is a myth now in this current day and age. The bigger picture, from retrenchment to reinvention, it's evolving, it's ending. And again, as Shashi Tharoor sir is saying, that we are shifting from manpower to mind power. It's not about repetitive work anymore. It's about constantly evolving yourself. The focus should shift from manpower to manpower, means mind power, outsourcing to innovation, and quantity to quality. All these things are happening. So again, IT sector will reinvigorate itself in a new way, and we should keep on updating ourselves. That's what Shashi Tharoor sir is talking about here. Now, if you see it from Main's perspective, if this particular question is asked to you, India's IT sector is not collapsing but transforming. Discuss the structural changes and policy measures needed to ensure its sustainable future. So, AI helps practice but cannot foster belonging and empathy. Very good here, Vikas. So, it's not collapsing but transforming. Here, you can talk about how it is not collapsing, like how it is shifting from manpower to mind power. It's not about employing people in masses and doing the repetitive coding. It's not about that. So what are the structural changes which are happening? Structural changes, as we have just discussed, AI is there to stay. So we need to focus on AI. We need to focus on big data. We need to focus on machine learning. These are the changes which we need. Policy measures. Governments have to come together. Public-private partnership has to be there. Government has to take some proactive measures. AI learning should be inculcated in engineering curricula. All these things you have to talk about here, dividing your answer into two different parts. Cool, sir. So again, and then here in the intro part, you can talk about how IT sector is contributing around 7% of GDP, employing around 1% of people, and these numbers are significant numbers. Structural changes, AI automation, shift in client expectation, global policies, H-1B visa, restrictions on that. So again, so many things are happening. Skill mismatch, employability. Increasing employability has been a topic which we keep on talking about. It's not only about AI. Even before that, we kept on talking about this particular thing, that Indian people, they are more focused on rote learning. So we have to move from rote learning to employability, or learning these things which actually matters in jobs, uh, job market, so to say. Cool. You can have a look at this. We had a discussion. Hope you understood the basic rationale here. AI, machine learning, ethics, etc. We have to focus on that. And then to take care of people, at least give them 6 to 9 months of severance pay, not just leave them by giving them 1 month pay, which is actually the norm, which we are seeing more and more. And sometimes, okay. So India's IT sector evolving from quantity-based outsourcing to quality-driven innovation. Keep in mind these keywords, guys. Quantity-based outsourcing, numbers, mass hiring, quality-driven innovation. It's all about what you are learning now, AI, Python, etc. So with strategy, I think you read all this thing. I'm not reading. Hope you understood the basic rationale. Let's solve some questions. The term silent layoff in the context of India's IT sector refers to what? What do you understand by silent layoffs? Government enforced termination of employees, large-scale job cuts announced publicly in the media, workforce reduction through performance exits, voluntary resignations and delayed promotion, temporary suspension of employees during economic downturns. So Harshini, Vikas, they have given the answer. Workforce reduction through performance exit, voluntary resignation, and delayed promotion. That is silent layoff. MCQ2, Rishi has also given the answer. 1. C. Shift in global IT services model is best described as a transition from what? Outsourcing to insourcing, manpower to mind power, automation to manual labor, cloud computing to legacy software. And again, this is what Shashi Tharoor sir is saying. I'm not saying that, earlier there was all manpower, there was no knowledge. Shashi Tharoor sir is saying that, we are, okay, what is the answer, guys? I don't know the answer. I was about to tell you the answer. What is the shift all about? What is Shashi Tharoor talking about here? You don't have to give your knowledge, you have to talk from the article's perspective, editorial perspective. Outsourcing to insourcing, Shashi Tharoor sir is talking about manpower to mind power. Guys, see this line? Where is this line? See this. Focus should shift from manpower to mind power. Manpower is mass hiring, do repetitive coding. That will not work anymore. Mind power means, do something, evolve your codes, use AI, use machine learning. So basically, that is what Shashi Tharoor is saying. That, the focus has have shifted in IT sector from mass hiring to evolved, taking people who have employability or employability skills, so to say, who have knowledge of AI, who have knowledge of machine learning, etc., etc. So C is the answer, guys. Really good. Let's focus. Let's focus. Let's focus. The silent layoff done. Second MCQ done. Third, which of the following reforms are suggested to strengthen India's IT sector? You read all these statements. Cool, cool, cool. And use option elimination. Curriculum reform in engineering education, promotion of AI literacy, support to deep tech startups, restrictions on foreign data transfer. And again, don't use anything like your own knowledge. Think about what Shashi Tharoor sir is talking about when it comes to ways to strengthen India's IT sector in this editorial. So Harshini, Vikas, Rishi, all of you have given the answer. Nowhere he has talked about restrictions on foreign data transfer. Fourth is wrong, right? He have talked about the other three, that is curriculum reform, AI literacy, and support to deep tech startups. That is A1, 2, and 3. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Next article, page number 8, editorial GS3, energy efficiency. Here, there, everywhere, this particular topic comes, but you will always witness something new almost every second day. We don't repeat articles, right? Today, there were so many articles on Kerala and how it has removed poverty. We have already talked about it. There was an article on cloud seeding. We have already talked about it. But in renewable, what happens? In energy efficiency, what happens? Every day, something new. This article is also containing something new. What this article is talking about, and then there will be some very interesting keywords, and what are those keywords, you will understand. We will go there. So this article is saying that India has expanded. Now there are terms here: installed capacity. India has expanded the clean energy. We are focusing more on non-fossil fuels, solar, wind, even nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is not renewable. It is non-renewable, but it is non-fossil: solar, wind, nuclear. And 50% of total installed capacity. Now, what does installed capacity, guys? 50% of total installed. Installed capacity means, let's say everything is running at full capacity, then how much energy will be generated? So that is installed capacity. There are two terms. One is installed capacity, one is real capacity. Please pay attention to these words. These words actually matters. So installed capacity. I have installed capacity of 100 megawatt. So 100 megawatt I can generate if every system is working at full capacity. But nothing ever operates at full capacity. You people don't study for 24 hours. Neither does machine work for 24 hours. So we never get the total installed capacity. We will always get lesser energy than that. So, but we have non-fossil fuel 50% of total installed capacity, but then there are other problems. So this is one word, installed capacity, one keyword. What is the other keyword? Grid emission factor. Pay attention to these keywords. They are very important, guys. They can directly ask you the meaning of these terms. Then I will also show you some other keywords. We'll talk about them one by one. The third keyword is RTC renewable power. What is RTC renewable power? What is round the clock renewable power? Fourth keyword is time of day tariffs. What is time of day tariffs? So you can understand, if you don't understand the basic meaning of these words or these terms, you're just trying to mug up facts. Is there any other thing? Demand side efficiency as first fuel. What is the meaning of this whole particular phrase? Demand side efficiency as first fuel. So you have to understand these terms, very important. Then you will understand everything. So grid emission factor, carbon emitted per unit of electricity. That has increased only. Although we are focusing more on non-fossil fuels, but still the amount of carbon which is emitted per unit of electricity is rising. 0.7, 0703 ton. Again, you can see this from 0 to 0.727. So amount of carbon is increasing. Why? Because renewable energy is not working at full capacity or installed capacity. They are working at 15 to 25% of installed capacity. On the other hand, coal and nuclear, they operate at 65 to 90%. So when it comes to efficiency, solar and wind, although you have so much installed capacity, they are not working at even at 30% of the installed capacity because there are variability involved. What is the variability factor? Solar energy, you can only produce it during the day. Wind energy depends on so many different factors. Because of this variability factor, there is low capacity utilization of solar and wind. On the other hand, coal and nuclear operate at 65-90%. So the the deficiency which is there, renewable energy, they cannot provide you light or energy at night. It has to be plugged by coal and nuclear. So coal and nuclear energy is still going on. So though nuclear renewables form 50% of installed capacity, they produce only 22% of the electricity because of the variability, because of the decline in efficiency. The growing electricity demand is met mainly by coal, and because you're using coal, carbon emitted per unit electricity is increasing, which is known as the grid emission factor. So only making 50% of installed capacity, 60% of installed capacity is not going to work unless or until we increase the capacity utilization. That's what this article is saying. Again, a tricky word. Timing mismatch. Solar energy peaks in afternoon but dips during evening and night when household demand rises. So what happens? Solar energy will give you maximum energy during the daytime, right? But the max, we are not burning electricity maximum during the daytime. We are burning it maximum during the night time. That is a peak time. To address this particular issue, there is one very interesting thing which article has suggested. And what is that interesting thing? Let me show you. So they talk about time of day tariffs. So it's it's 100 gigawatt wind capacity by 2030. Yes. Good. So let's focus, guys. So what they're talking about, see this time of day tariffs. What is time of day tariffs? Time of day tariffs means who is, using energy. We people are using energy. We can always change our behavior. Behavior means, and how we can change our behavior when we are given a little bit of push. So time of day tariffs means, let's say 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm saying that electricity unit will be rupees 8, per megawatt, whatever, per unit, rupees 8 per unit, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm saying that, or let's say 6 p.m. to 12, or whatever, 10 p.m. It's 12 rupees 12 per unit. So when this time of day tariff is introduced, this flexible pricing is introduced, I will be incentivized to use lesser unit of electricity during the peak period, thereby reducing energy demand. So that we can also do, and if we are reducing, energy demand during the peak hours, that will put less stress on this whole system of ours, and maybe renewable energy can perform much better than, or there will be not too much pressure on the coal sector. Hope you can understand. So this time of the day tariff is also a good thing to do, and that will change consumer behavior, and that is very much needed. So this particular term, time of day tariff, is very important. Hope you understood it. Cool. Let's focus. So solar energy peaks in afternoon, dips during evening and night when household demand rises. And now we know how we can keep a tab on household demand so that we are not putting too much pressure on our energy sources. Fossil fuel plants fill this gap as shock absorber. And they will be, if this time of the day tariff is working properly, then what will happen? Shock absorber have to absorb lesser shock, and thereby decreasing carbon intensity. The challenge isn't just installing renewables, it's achieving flexibility to balance demand and supply. So there are variable factors, there are multiple factors which are involved here. Then one thing which we have discussed, how we can reduce shock or coal or too much dependence on coal, time of day tariffs. Second thing is RTC renewable power. What is RTC renewable power? Round the clock renewable. So we know solar, wind, etc. They are generating energy based on certain conditions. But we also have third thing, that is storage. So you are getting energy from solar during daytime. You are getting energy from wind during certain conditions. You store them. You store them and then you use this storage in the night time. That is RTC renewable power. But for that we need a lot of land where we have wind terminals and all, solar panels and all. We need transmission infrastructure, we need investment. So these three constraints are impeding this round the clock renewables and proper storage: land availability, transmission infrastructure, investment. But this is a work in progress. So what are we trying to discuss here? Although installed capacity of renewable has increased, we are not able to tap it because of various limitations. How we can take care of those limitations? Time of the day tariffs, round the clock renewables, all these things. So India's coal heavy system and rapid demand growth makes efficiency crucial. Efficiency is very much important. And how we can ensure efficiency? Time of day tariff is one. Accelerate and then other measures. 4 to 5, like whatever AC you are using or different appliances you are using, use 4 and 5 star product. Don't use means lower quantity which is consuming a lot of energy. Support MSMEs, help them build, and government can support them via different measures, efficient motors, etc. Flexible pricing we have discussed. Scrappage incentives, phase out old inefficient equipment, and it applies to our homes also. If there is some AC which is 10-year old, government should incentivize us so that we can sell them in the market at some discounted price or some price which they are giving us. So again, there are different measures how we can reduce stress on coal energy power plants, and how we can increase the efficiency of solar or renewable energy as well as nuclear energy. That's what this article is talking about. Cool, sir. Target and projection. Uh, this thing, this particular emission factor which we're talking about, GEF, grid emission factor, carbon emitted per unit of electricity. So we have a plan, we have a mission which wants to reduce this grid emission factor to decline to 0.5. You can see the years, but this can only happen when we are using lesser coal and more renewable and nuclear energy. So India has already cut its emission intensity by 33%, but rising grid emission factor warns of imbalance. And how we can address this? Supply side expansion, expand renewables, expand storage, expand transmission. On the other hand, demand side efficiency, time of the day tariffs, use 4-star rating, 5-star rating appliances. Demand side efficiency as the first fuel means use energy efficiently. When you don't need it, switch off your phone, like phone I'm saying, switch off your fan, etc. All these are under the demand side efficiency. So again, it's a very technical article, guys. You have to revise it multiple number of times. A very good article from means perspective. Installed capacity is not everything. We have to understand how we can reduce our reliance on coal, what we need to do. There are different terms here, key terms. We have discussed these phrases. Note it down somewhere, revise them multiple number of times, and then only you can remember them in a much better manner. Let's solve some questions now. MCQ 4. Which of the following best explains the term installed capacity in the context of power sector? The total actual electricity generated by a power plant in a year, the average daily energy consumption by consumer, the maximum electricity output a plant can produce when operating at full load, the share of renewable energy in total generation. What is installed capacity? So Vikash, Labashna, Dream, Rishi, all of you have given the answer. The answer is C. The maximum electricity output a plant can produce when operating at full load. Very good, yeah. That is installed capacity. But the generated capacity or the generated energy will always be lesser than installed capacity. Nobody works, Harshini. Harshini sees the answer, Harshini. Installed capacity is not total actual electricity generated. Actual electricity generated will always be lesser than installed capacity. Nobody works at 100% efficiency. This installed capacity means when you are working at 100% efficiency, how much energy you will be producing, how much electricity you will be producing. So the answer is C. Harshini, hope you are understanding why the answer is C. Harshini is awesome, guys. PYQ 5, UPSC 2016. So here we have talked about renewable energy, International Solar Alliance. We have talked about it almost 1 million times, if not more. So let's try to solve this question. Cool, cool, cool. So International Solar Alliance was launched at United Nations Climate Change Conference in 2015. The alliance includes all countries of United Nations. This is not directly related to what we have just read, but solar, wind, renewable, we have talked about it like almost every second day we talk about it because they're so important. And that also tells you how important it is from exam perspective, from UPSC pre as well as mains perspective. Very important, guys. Almost every second day you have some awesome article, and it's almost something new you're getting out of it. So Vikas, Harshini, Rishi, Labasna, Dream, all of them have given the answer A, one only. Very good. In India's energy system, which of the following correctly describes the term round the clock renewable power? What is round the clock renewable power? Power produced from coal and renewable sources alternately throughout the day. Renewable energy made available 24/7 by combining solar, wind, and storage solutions. Electricity supplied during daylight hours using solar energy alone. Backup power generated. COP21, France and India. Very good, Labasna, yaar. Very nice, yeah. So Harshini has given the answer, Vikas has given the answer, Rishi has given the answer. Renewable energy made available 24/7 by combining solar, wind, and storage solutions. Very good. Harshini, Vikas, Rishi, and Labasna. B is the answer. These terms, they are very important. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word, guys. Third article. What are the challenges with High Sea Treaty? We have talked about High Seas Treaty, I think, 2 months back, or maybe more than that. And what are these High Seas Treaty, or what are high seas basically? There is another name for this particular treaty, that is BBNJ, Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Agreement. So again, even though this news is coming after 2 months, let's say, but it is getting repeated, that means from environment perspective, this high sea treaty becomes very important. So what is high seas, or what are considered high seas? The area beyond exclusive economic zone. So every country has their, like, exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles. From our coast, 200 nautical miles, which is approximately 370 kilometer. So 370 kilometer from Indian coast, this is EZ, we have certain rights over that water. Beyond that water comes high seas. What will happen to the resources in high seas? Who will use it? Should we use it or not? If we are using it, who will use it? The bigger powers who will be roaming around them? No. Everybody has equal rights, right? Because they are belonging to neutral water. So based on that, there was this particular treaty which came and which was talked about in 2023, and it has been ratified by around 80 countries. It will be implemented from January 2026. But the problem is, big countries, China, big countries, USA, Russia, they are very silent about it, because it's all about brute force. They have the brute force, so they will be using resources from this high seas. The countries which does not have so much power, UN clause, United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. So it is trying to, as Vikas is saying, UN clause, High Seas Treaty is trying to plug the gap which has been created by UN clause, which is not talking much about how we will utilize high seas. Even in high seas, you have certain things. What are those certain things? MGR, marine genetic resources. As the name suggests, let's say there are some deep sea creatures. From those deep sea creatures, you extracted some enzymes which can be used in biotechnology. So who will be using it? Only the big powers who have the brute force? No, everybody should be able to use it, right? So High Sea Treaty was ratified by over 60 countries in September 2025. This was introduced in 2023, come into force in January 2026. But it can only come into force when the big countries, they are supporting it. We need their support some way or the other. How will that particular support come? That's what this article is talking about. And what is the aim? To preserve and use marine biodiversity sustainably. Sustainable word, you can use it anywhere and everywhere. Sustainable security, sustainable development, and all those things. So it is known as BBNJ, Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction. That is its other name. Global framework to govern marine biodiversity. How? And beyond national jurisdiction, we have discussed EEZ, exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles. Declares, again, you can read all these things. It introduced area-based management tools. Like, even on land, you have something known as environmental impact assessment, which is explicitly mentioned in your GS3. Before you are going forward with a particular, means coal power plant or any project, you need to see what will be the environmental impact. Same thing we have to see in marine water as well. So all these things will be taken care of by High Seas Treaty, but only when some influential power supports it. Introduce area-based management tools, marine protected areas to protect biodiversity and improve climate resilience. You can read all these things which is written here. The important point is, High Sea Treaty, BBNJ, same, yes. What is the purpose? What is EEZ? What is the demarcation of EEZ? What is the problem? Big countries not supporting it. Originated from 2004 UN General Assemblies. Again, you can see all these things. Initiative to address gap in UN clause, United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. And they're talking about these issues. But you can read all these points. But the problem is lack of participation by major powers. US, China, and Russia, they have not ratified the treaty. And if these countries are not participating, obviously the implementation part will be weaker. Principal conflict. How we will equitable benefit sharing? We keep on talking about it. How you will share? Let's say from that particular deep sea creature, you have got the enzymes. How you will do the equitable benefit sharing, how you will do the quantification, how much engines will go to which particular country. So that is a different thing. Freedom of the high seas, who will be like unrestricted navigation, etc. You're talking about resource utilization, like which country can move in which particular region, will it impact the freedom or not, who will be governing all these things. So again, the treaty introduces a benefit sharing framework, lacks clarity on how benefits are measured or distributed, how you will do the quantification part. If the big countries are not supporting it, what will be the way forward? So we have to talk about all these things, and this is again an evolving scenario. We have to keep a track on how things develop in the future. Treaty provides greater clarity on environmental impact assessment, marine protected areas, benefit sharing, but how, this genetic resource, marine genetic resources will be used, that is ambiguous. So again, let's see how things pan out. For now, the questions we will solve will tell you what are the things which you have to focus on. Let's solve some questions. Time of the day tariffs. This is based on the previous article. Time of day tariffs are designed primarily to do what? Encourage consumers to use power during periods of low demand, penalize households that consume above average electricity, provide free power to industries operating at night, maintain uniform electricity prices across state. What is time of day tariffs, which we have discussed in the previous article? Harshini has given the answer. Labasna Dream has given the answer. Rishi has given the answer. Encourage consumers to use power during periods of low demand. Very good. Next article. The High Seas Treaty, recently in news, is primarily aimed at what? UPSC for you has given the answer. So Labasna Dream or Harshini, Labasna Dream, Rishi, UPSC for you, all of you have given the answer. The answer is A. Now, what is the answer for MCQ 8? What is the basic aim of High Seas Treaty, which is also known as BBNJ? Biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. Labasna Dream and Harshini, they have given the answer B. Conserving and sustainably using marine biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. Very good. MCQ 9. Under UN clause, the exclusive economic zone extends up to what? So Labasna Dream, Harshini, Rishi, Vikas, all of you have given the answer. Very good here. What is the extent of EEZ? 12 nautical miles, 24 nautical miles, 100 nautical miles, 200 nautical miles, EEZ. And so Labasna Dream, Rishi, they have given 200 nautical miles, and it is roughly 370 kilometers. Very good. Harshini has also given the answer. Next article, page number 14, GS2, GS3, GS2, Governance Acts, Statutory Body, GS3, Science and Tech, Health. When you talk about health perspective, it is also important from GS2 now. Again, Vikas has also given the answer. So Labashna, Dream, Rishi, Harshini, Vikas, UPSC for you. Cool. Awesome. So this article is about FSSAI ban on ORS tag drinks. Earlier, what used to happen? There were some drinks. What is ORS? Oral rehydration solution, as the name suggests. So it is treating dehydration, right? And there are certain components which are involved here, sodium chloride, etc., which is used to treat dehydration. So there are certain standards, there are certain prerequisites which can be called ORS, but anybody and everybody was making ORS using, and they were also like ORS is also an energy drink, this and that. And Delhi High Court, like there was a ban on this ORS tag drinks. You can write ORS on your product only when it meets certain criteria. Now Delhi High Court has upheld this particular ban on ORS tag drinks. So Dr. Reddy, they have filed a case because there was a brand of theirs, Rebalance Vitos, which was specifically impacted by this particular ban. Not anybody and everybody can say their product as ORS. If you meet certain criteria, then only you can call yourself as ORS. So this is the brand we are talking about, Rebalance Vitos. Sonu Sood sir was promoting it, which is actually very ironic because he stands for everything good and correct. During the time of COVID, he was seen as a Masiha, and which made many people very angry that, oh my God, how can he be a Masiha? we political leaders, we are the masiha. So again, so rebalance with toss. Dr. Reddy, they have filed a case. Delhi High Court has ruled against them. So Delhi High Court rejected a plea filed by Dr. Reddy. The company had challenged a Food Safety and Standard Authority of India directive. Now, there are other things which are important, guys. What are the other things which are important? FSSAI, we'll talk about this article. Before that, first let's talk about FSSAI. So this is a statutory body. Statutory body. Why? Because it has been established by an act. Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. And this particular act has replaced the earlier act, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. There are so many channels, YouTube channels, which keeps on talking about how FSSAI is not working properly. They ignore certain directives, but again, they should work properly because they comprise of 22 members. They work under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and the chairperson is generally a IAS officer like you people. He is an IAS officer, rank of secretary, and he is not under the charge of like this particular guy is not under the charge of Director General of Health Services. So FSSAI functions under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He is an IAS officer, the head, generally a secretary. Why am I reiterating this point? Because this is actually important, guys. Sonu Sood, nice human being, exactly, Rishi. So headquarters is in New Delhi. We have read all these things. Keep these points in mind. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on FSSAI. Now let's come back to the previous article or whatever we were discussing. The company has challenged FSSAI directive that ban use of term ORS in certain beverages, and we are very thankful to those YouTube channels which keeps on awareing people, how much sugar we should be taking, how sometimes there are so-called mango drinks which does not have any mango in them. So again, thankful to those channels, and they should keep on doing. And again, so FSSAI, oh my god, on 14th October, they withdrew all previous permission allowing the use of label ORS on any fruit-based, non-carbonated or ready-to-drink beverages. So again, the ambit of to be called ORS was larger earlier. I personally feel there is some amount of corruption which is going on in certain circles here. FSSAI should work in a transparent manner. But again, with due respect, I'm not saying it. Some scholars said it. I believe everyone is very honest in our country. It's a court decision. Sachin Datta sir, he upheld the FSSAI directive. And again, this is not done by FSSAI on its own. There is a ma'am, there's a very famous doctor, very old doctor who did something related to this. And then FSSAI. I believe the point is why FSSAI has to be prompted to do these things. Why they are not suo moto taking actions. Suo moto means on their own. They are there to do this, right? It should not be like I am filing a case, somebody else is filing a case, and then it comes to it's their work. So key principle, the court agreed that only medically approved formulations that meet pharmacological ORS standard can use the term ORS, not anybody and everybody. Cool, sir. Let's solve a question based on this. PYQ 10 UPSC 2018 related to whatever we have read. Try to solve this question, guys. So, Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 replaced the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. FSSAI is under the charge of Director General of Health Services in the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. What is the answer, guys? We have just discussed it. Don't be a Gajni. Don't suffer from short term memory loss. Harshini has given the answer. Vikas has given the answer. See, food safety, this is correct, right? What we have just discussed here, see this? We have discussed FSSAI functions under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, but it is not under the charge of Director General of Health Services, guys. It's a guy who is an IAS officer who will be the head, and he's generally of the rank of secretary. How many times have I told you people? Chipundis? Don't forget this. So second statement is wrong, guys. He's not under the charge of Director General of Health Services. Not under the charge of Director General of Health Services. So hope you are understanding why C. Everybody has given the answer C. What happened here? Guys, are you understanding why second statement is wrong? It is under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, but it is not under the charge of Director General of Health Services. Very good. So the answer is A, one only, not C. Again, a tough question, a tricky question. Revise these questions. Very good UPSC for you. A is the answer. Next article, page number 14, GS3. GS3 is ruling today. Digital arrest are a very big challenge. Victim mostly, and 3,000 crore we have lost in India alone. I suffered digital arrest. I suffered it. So I know how. Any of you, have you ever suffered digital arrest? I suffered a serious digital arrest. I was about to lose my all money in the digital arrest. So what happened? Almost a year back, I was in Hyderabad. I was working there, high-tech city. So again, awesome place. So when I will tell you this whole thing, and this is very important, guys. You have to understand there are certain terms, again, scam compounds. This is in news all the time. You have to understand how it works. So I recorded my daily news analysis, and after that, I got a call that, your phone, this number will be stopped. This number will be stopped, and if you don't want it to be stopped, call on this number. I called on that number, and then when I called on that number, they are like, no, 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 this particular number and the person associated with it is, Harshad Mehta or some Mehta scam. 1,000 crore has been taken away, and there is a, video call which is going on. That person is keeping me because he's like, you are using this number, and this person. Your name is Shubham Sagar. They have every detail of yours, and I'm not an illiterate guy, guys. It's not like it's easy to make a fool of me. I was there on that phone for 1.5 hours. I was traveling. They were like, you have to keep your camera on. They were taking each and every information. I reached my phone, like, room, and even then the camera was on for almost 1.5 hours. And then when they started asking some other stupid questions, after 1.5 hours, I realized that, oh my God, this is stupid. And I was like, okay, if you have so much information, mail me. And then I cut the call. But I was scared to death. It was like, I will be taken. And they were like, there are two things. Two things will happen to you: digital arrest or physical arrest. So I was like, in physical arrest, will, obviously I will choose digital arrest. So I chose digital arrest. It's not a joke, guys. I'm swearing on my mother, this actually happened to me. This can happen to anyone, and I was about to lose my all money. And if this happened to me, it can happen to anybody and everybody. We are not illiterates here. Nobody has faced this thing ever before. This whole, digital arrest thing. I'm the only one. Here, Suomoto works, sir. Supreme Court, yeah. Here, Delhi High Court took it suo motu. People lost 120 crore rupees due to digital arrest scam. Oh my God. So please, people, be aware. And there is a scam compound. Many people believe Supreme Court and, our government believes that this is not happening from India. The way those people were talking, they created this whole, and I was talking with Mumbai's branch of something, something and all. They are working from outside India. There is a concept which is known as scam compound. What is the concept of scam compound when we are talking about this particular digital arrest thing? So you will see the word here, scam compound. Scam compound means there are people who are taken away from India or who are there in countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos. So there they have these offices where it will look like a proper office, and they're talking to you, thereby giving you the impression that this is actually Mumbai's, office and this and that. And you cannot, hope you can understand. So please, so this is scam compound, the basic meaning. What is digital arrest? Fraudsters impersonate judges, police officers. You can see this, and they will forge document, AI generated visuals, and they will talk and they are very intelligent people. They are not at all anybody and everybody. So again, suo moto case here. Okay, UPSC for you is talking about here suo moto in the case of digital arrest, not FSSAI. So Supreme Court took suo moto cognizance in learning about a senior citizen couple in Ambala. They lost 1.05 crore. I did not have that much money, but I also would have lost easily around lakh or more. The court earlier suggested assigning the CBI. You can read all these things. It's also causing mental trauma, this and that. We have to do something about it. We have to be very wary when you get these calls. Just cut them and don't be like me, which the thing which I did. So yeah, let's focus on the question, guys. MCQ 11, organized crime, exactly. The term digital arrest, causing mental trauma, this and that, recently seen in news, refers to what? Government mechanism to detain cyber criminals through electronic surveillance, the use of digital warrants for arresting suspects remotely, a form of cyber fraud where victims are coerced into paying money through fake threats of arrest by impersonating officials. What is digital arrest? Harshini has given the answer. Vikas has given the answer. Very, very, very good. UPSC for you also has given the answer. Rishi has given the answer. Okay, we'll discuss it tomorrow. Which of the following correctly describes ORS? Have a look at this particular question also. 11 and 12 we'll discuss tomorrow. Like, share and subscribe. Spread the word, guys. You can join this Telegram channel. I will share this PDF by 9:30 a.m. You can post your score, you can join these lifetime success bundle, you will get all these courses. You don't have to pay anything hourly, monthly, or yearly if you're joining this success bundle at 5,999. The other way is you can also take any of these individual courses, 1,999 mentorship, NCRT series, if you feel like your basics are not strong enough. If you have knowledge of history, you need some means material, this one. Doubt sessions, if you want to schedule some doubt session, you have some issues, you can do that. Annotated into analysis PDF, whatever I'm writing, this particular PDF, if you want, you can also get it. Means answer evaluation, very important. If you're writing answer, you should write answer, you should get it evaluated, be it me or somebody else. The prices will increase from 1st December. I'm not saying may, will, I'm saying will means it will, individual as well as lifetime success bundle. So if you're thinking about joining anything, join by 30th November. When I say may, it may. When I say will, that means the prices will increase. Cool, sir. You can also donate if you feel like I'm contributing to you. You are your own competition. You're not competing with anybody else. And I keep on saying this every day because this is actually what matters. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Harshini. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Rishi. I will see you people tomorrow at 8 a.m.